I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Married it with EMP and then I'm middle P. How to get myself a bag before the bull run. How to take some shit, stick it in the ballroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Married it with EMP and then I'm middle P. How to get myself a bag before the bull run. How to take some shit, stick it in the ballroom. E-pop got me waiting 3 more hours. Sticking all these years higher than a tower. Having all these nodes feel like superpowers. Investing all this bread, never been a coward. Call me Mr. Bond, money in the vault. I stay in the front, feeling like the goal. Don't worry about the haters, got the detonator. I'll kill in every market, call me Terminator. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm metal P. How to get myself a bag before the bull run. Some shit, stick it in the ballroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then I'm middle P. How to get myself a bag before the bull run. How to take some shit, stick it in the ballroom.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. Oh, hang on 1 second, I gotta unmute. Oh man, we're simulcasting in 3 different things today, so it's gonna be interesting. Here we go. Alright, one more time. Alright. Hey everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and we're doing a very special AMA today. Again, we're simulcasting on not only Discord, but Telegram, and YouTube as well. If you're on our Telegram, you're not going to be able to hear the second half of the audio. You'll only be able to hear my voice, so please, everybody join the OnlyBurns Discord or the YouTube page as we get ready to introduce this killer new project to us, and this is going to be the beginning of what I hope is a long relationship. So without further ado, Cyril, what's up, brother? Happy to have you, man. I hope I pronounced your name right. I know we were joking about that earlier today, but yeah, you've been a great part of the space. I know, not only are you docs, but you have a pretty substantial background in DeFi as well. You and I have been talking privately over the last few weeks, trying to really put this all together, not only bringing attention to your project, but how it can benefit EMP and really all DeFi projects moving forward. So I appreciate you coming on. This will be super informal. Again, this is basically just a high-level overview of OnlyBurns and how it operates, and then we'll have these guys back on a few more times before the project actually launches on how we can kind of, again, capitalize on the relationship. So, yeah, brother, without further ado, I'll let you take it away. Maybe give us a quick intro of who you are, and then we can go through the pitch deck.
Yeah, hey man. Appreciate you guys having us on for the AMA. I've enjoyed our chats over the last couple of days and just kind of getting to know one another and learning a bit about EMP and what you guys are doing. It's awesome stuff. So my name is Cyril Kier. I am a publicly doxed individual. I'm also KYC'd with the Obsidian Council. And I even run my own DeFi consulting firm called KC Consulting that does KYC and helps other DeFi protocols figure out like their tokenomics during their planning phase, business structuring, and many other different aspects. I got started, I would say, in business management when I was 18. My friend and we started a wireless internet company in rural Virginia because I was tired of dealing with 14 kilobit a second dial-up. So we ran that for, a good little while, and then the FCC changed the regulations stating you had to purchase the right to use the frequency, and Verizon bought our frequency out from underneath us. So fun. But yeah, I started investing in the stock market about 13 years ago, blue chip cryptos about 9 years ago, and then moved into the DeFi space about 4 years ago. And it was definitely a culture shock coming from traditional finance and then, seeing DeFi. But I loved that it was a new space, ripe for innovation, and just the new technology that's rolling out is so cool. But when I was moving through DeFi and going from project to project, and I think the first project I invested in wound up being a slow rug, and I began asking, especially last year during the rebase season, the ohm fork season, how can we build a protocol that benefits every other project? And that's where OnlyBurns was born from, because everyone loves a buyback and burn, right? It causes that price appreciation, it reduces the amount of circulating supply of the token. And a lot of those protocols last year, like those rebase ones and those meme tokens, they'd always advertise, oh, we burnt like $5 million of our tokens. And you look at the chart and it does nothing, right? Because they were burning OTC tokens from their Treasury wallet that, it wasn't buying it from the LP and then burning it. And we have figured out a way to make a sustainable protocol that is capable of buying and burning other project tokens. So,
Yeah, I love
let's
it. Yeah, no, I love it, Cyril. And again, bro, I'll let you. I was gonna just let you finish. I didn't want to interrupt you. And yeah, there's a lot to unpack. But a few points I want to make real fast before you jump in is number one, just like EMP, um, you're, and again, I don't want to speak for you, but you seem to be fairly independently wealthy, meaning you've been around crypto a while now. This isn't a project to just get all your friends rich. And that's the same sort of mindset that we had with launching EMP as well. Is that again the founders made a commitment to all of our community that we would not dump on everybody's heads, and that's helped us grow over the last year and be sustainable. So not only is that a major turn on for me, but also what you said is, and you glazed over it a little bit, but for those that are paying attention, it's a major, major difference. And that is a buyback and burn. That other word in there, buyback, that is extremely important because, again, like what was said is, burning tokens doesn't really have any economical value other than, reducing supply. But if you're actually buying them and then burning them, that has an actual impact on the price of that native asset as well as reducing supply. So again, that's a super important key factor in what you guys are doing that will help all the projects. And we'll get into this too about how you're doing that and the amount of money that could potentially be going into the buyback and burn mechanism. So yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. And yeah, so I love the building, especially here in the DeFi space, because there is that room for innovation, right? And you're correct. I have a very healthy portfolio. I like to keep those specifics personal for, safety reasons, but yeah, I'm here to build and have fun and build something that benefits the people in the DeFi space. I'm not even taking a salary from this. I have no reason to, and especially when you're launching a new business, in a sense, the more that you can reinvest into the growth of the ecosystem instead of paying salaries and stuff like that, the better, right? But yeah, let me flip over here. So, OnlyBurns, we're essentially gamifying buyback and burns. We're creating new ways for projects to create price appreciation on their tokens or NFTs. And the communities are able to vote, and projects can also vote to fight for one of the top 5 spots each month to receive a buyback and burn. And let's talk a little bit about our token. and then we'll get into like some of the partnerships and how it works and everything like that. So our token is a hyperdeflationary token. What that means is 10% of cells is burnt. So when someone sells 10% of that, that is not collected as a tax. Instead, it just burns it directly. And then when people are voting with their O-burn for the project that they want to see have a buyback and burn performed, it burns the O-burn that they're voting with. So there's two different methods that cause deflation on our token. And when we finish the sales of our NFTs, which we'll get to that in a couple of minutes, the Treasury itself applies 30% of all revenue generated to buying back the O-burn token from the liquidity pool. This creates price appreciation on the O-burn token itself. I see, there's a couple of protocols that are sitting on really fat treasuries. Like look at the original Ohm. They've got this really huge treasury. Imagine if they took 30% of the revenue it was generating and started buying back the Ohm token. You'd actually see it become worth something again, right? But yeah, so that's kind of the because a lot of people they say, okay, well, what's the benefit of me holding Oburn in addition to all the other stuff that you're doing? Well, that's your benefit. It's hyperdeflationary, so you wind up owning a larger portion of the total supply as the total supply is deflating, and our treasury will be purchasing back the Oburn token from the liquidity pool with 30% of the revenue that it generates. So that's the Oburn token. And I'll pause here for a minute before we dig into the mechanics of how our ecosystem benefits other projects to see if you got any questions.
Totally, yeah, no, again, I know on the surface it may be a bit to unpack, like I said, we'll try to keep it as simple as we can to start, and then we can do many follow-up videos with you guys on this, but yeah, I mean, because again, let's face it, we're all here in DeFi to make money, and at EMP, we try to establish partnerships and other potential money making opportunities even outside of our ecosystem. And so, yeah, I think that this does a great way of explaining how the actual Oburn token becomes more and more valuable because of those buybacks. And then what we're going to get into next is the number one use case of this Oburn, which again is really exciting. And we're really big about gamification in EMP. Again, with our detonator contract, the gamification, the lottery, the giveaways, the daily interaction, like all of that has led to our success. And I think, OnlyBurns has a ton of similar daily incentives and interactions and everything that you guys can capitalize on to drive further use case of Oburn, which not only benefits, projects, but also benefits the underlying asset.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because obviously, what point do people have to buy and hold Oburn if it's solely
We may have some technical difficulties here. It looks like we lost connection. Bear with me. Oh, look. All right, it looks like the feed has dropped out from Discord. Can you guys still hear me on Telegram or YouTube? Yeah, all right, yep, both. AJ, all right, awesome. Thanks, guys. All right, I see you in the chat on YouTube. All right, let me try to get back over to YouTube. I'm sorry, Discord, and get them up and running again. Bear with me, everyone. All right, it seems like we have lost Cyril. If somebody can send him a DM, I don't know if you can hear me, Cyril. I think the feed has gone out. Let me leave and come back and see if that helps. Nope. All right. Bull in LA, can you guys hear me on this chat?
And then
sorry, what'd you say?
that sphere to earn additional revenue at 5 to 15% AP.
All right, it sounds like the stream is still happening, so it might be something on my side.
It's definitely on your side because it looks fine everywhere else.
All right, so while we're waiting.
Okay. All right, give me 1 second. Let me refresh. All right, I don't see anything here. All right, apologies everybody. I don't know why we are not getting a feed. So can Cyril, Bull, or LA, can any of you guys hear me?
What'd you say, AJ?
Hey, LA, I'm having major difficulties here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
All right, I'm not getting any of the live stream on Discord, and it's not going to YouTube. So
I can see it on YouTube.
you can.
At
Yeah.
the end of the month, the projects that are the top 5 spots receive a buyback and burn. Now let's take a look at how that.
Are you sure? Are you on the right YouTube? I just checked.
Yeah, let me refresh. Hold on a sec. I could up until a second ago. It might be a little behind. Let me check again. Yeah, I mean, well, it looks like Discord at least. There's like, I see everyone's picture up there.
Yeah, but there's no. Can somebody? Oh, yep.
Oh, you mean that part's not loading for you? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, if somebody on YouTube can confirm or deny that they are seeing the stream from Discord.
No, I can't see his actual screen. I can just see your mouse and it says you are disconnected.
Yeah, okay, that's the issue. Okay. All right. Let me try and refresh one more
Let
time
me
here.
just. Oh, are
There.
you back?
There we are. Yes. All right. We got it. Sorry. Sorry. Can you hear me, bro?
Yes, I can.
All right, I'm sorry, man. We were unfortunately having some technical difficulties, and none of that was on YouTube. So can we just start about 5 minutes back? The last thing we were talking about was again just the actual tokenomics of OBurn. So maybe just, and again, I apologize for those that are on Discord that may have to hear this twice now. But can you just go back about one or two slides and go over? From again after you ended with the tokenomics.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that. No worries. I understand, technical difficulties happen sometimes. Not a big deal.
Awesome, bro. Thank you for
Y-
being understanding. Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny. We get into DeFi and crypto, but little do we know we got to be professional YouTubers and streamers on top of that. So yeah, perfect. Yep, this was the last slide. Relationships, perfect. So yeah, from here on, bro, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we'll recap so that people can hear now over there on the YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Uh,
Yeah,
so yeah, only burns. We haven't even launched yet, and we've developed two very strong relationships. So the first one, and probably the most pivotal to our ecosystem, is the relationship that we formed with Kyoto Swap, which is part of the Kyoto Foundation. We'll be launching our pre-sale on their launch pad, and that page should be up before the end of the week. They're currently doing the UI stuff right now, and that'll have all of the information about our ecosystem on there and documents that you can check out, etc. So you can really do your own research because of course. I'm biased, right? I'm the project founder, so don't trust me, right? Do your own research, look into everything before deciding if you want to, become part of our ecosystem. Um, and that pre-sale will begin 7 days prior to our live launch on Kyoto Swap on February 1st. The cool thing about our relationship with their swap DEX is that they're going to be instituting custom routing for our token so that we're able to collect the buy tax in BUSD instead of our native token. And AJ, I'm sure you've seen it before in other projects that maybe you've invested in. Anytime that there's a token that has a tax, whenever the protocol decides that they're going to utilize some of those funds to do something, what do they have to do to get that money? They have to sell the token that they were
totally.
collecting as tax,
Yep,
which
and dump,
creates.
yeah, dump on everybody's heads, right? Yeah,
y-
100%. Yeah.
Yep. And Art, we're not going to have to do that. We're collecting the tax in BUSD instead of our native token. So you're not going to have any sell pressure from the protocol. So that's pretty awesome. And it's something that I believe is going to put us a step ahead, in the DeFi space and allow us to utilize our treasury in an effective manner without having to hurt our own investors, right? So,
For sure. Well,
uh,
and that's the bonus of having a like an actual DEX that's custom routed. I mean, the downside is the user engagement. Everybody's so used to PancakeSwap, but I think through education and having that clear on your website that people need to interact with your LP directly in Kyoto, you can get around any potential user adoption issues. So yeah, totally.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you guys have seen their swap, but it's actually a really slick UI. Well, I'm on the wrong network right now, but go check it out. It's kyotoswap.io. But yeah, so the other relationship that we have is a mutually beneficial partnership with Sphere Finance. So if you're not familiar with what Sphere is building, they're building something called Dyson, which essentially is an auto balancer for Uniswap v3 exotic strategies. And I know that's a mouthful. And it would probably take about 15-20 minutes just to explain what that is in and of itself. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bore you with the technicals, but it allows your treasury to generate very significant yield through fee farming, essentially. And our relationship with them is that they're creating special Dyson pools just for our treasury to invest in that have lower performance fees, meaning we're going to capture more of the revenue for our own ecosystem and pay out a lot less in fees. And in return, we're going to purchase Sphere token with 2% of our farming profits, and then we're going to stake the Sphere to earn Matic at between 5 to 15% APY as additional income for our protocol. So 2 really awesome relationships before we've even launched.
For sure. No, absolutely. And I know you and I discussed this as well. And again, I mean, we can get into it more later, but, God forbid, and this is another answer that I loved that you gave me, again, behind the scenes, that made us do this AMA. I think that in DeFi, you have to plan for the best, but prepare for the worst. So God forbid, the Dyson pools didn't work out, or there was some other better revenue streams that you were able to implement. I'm assuming you have the ability to pivot for all that, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So in the case of, the situation where, let's say the worst happened and, Dyson wasn't what it was cracked up to be, right? Which I am actually on the team over there at Sphere as a mod, and I have that NDA signed, so I get to see all the goodies. Uh,
For sure.
so I have no doubt that they'll be able to accomplish it. It's actually in beta testing right now and going really well, and that should actually be getting launched here, in the upcoming days. But yeah, in the worst case scenario, I remember I have 13 years of investment experience in managing a portfolio, and I know that diversification is key, and having most of your assets in safe, lower yield strategies, and then you have a smaller amount in higher risk, higher reward, higher yield strategies. So yeah, it's regardless of what situation gets thrown our way. I'm the type of person who I like to think, okay, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? And let's create a game plan for it. That way you're not stuck, with your pants down if something doesn't go the way you were planning, trying
For
to
sure.
scramble and figure out what to do.
Yep, no, 100%, bro, and I get it. And again, I mean, that will play really into the overall strategy because obviously you need your treasury to yield to then be able to provide those monthly prizes of the buyback. And all this is also, and this is what we say in our community a lot. I mean, this is all during the depths of a bear market. I mean, these returns could be exponential in terms of dollar value, during the next run up. So absolutely.
Yeah, it just what you said right there is 100% true because I've been watching the beta testing on Dyson, and one of the pools that I'm interested in the most that they have is USDC W ETH, right? And when volume is kind of dead, it prints about 187% APY, which I know that's ridiculous, right? But that's the way Uniswap V3 works. If you're not familiar with it, you really should check it out, but just make sure you know what you're doing. But during that spike that we had last night, that APY actually increased to 1,240%. It was ridiculous. Um, but beta testers were certainly enjoying that. That's for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, all right. So moving on, let's talk a little bit about how it works, right? So, utilizing our properly designed tokenomics for our ecosystem and our relationship here with Kyoto, we're able to collect 10% of all purchases in BUSD. So, communities, other protocols, and communities from other projects, they purchase some OBurn. They utilize our burn DApp to vote for their favorite project. They burn some of their OBurn to back their vote with weight, right? And then votes are displayed on the leaderboard. We call it the burn board. And you'll be able to see in real time your votes affecting the burn board, which is really cool. We wanted to make sure it was responsive, adaptive, and at the end of the month, the top 5 projects receive a buyback and burn. And I know a lot of people are like, okay, well, 10% buy tax, let's think, how much could that really be? Well, on a standard, lower mid-range project in purchase volume, you see around 500,000 a month during a standard market. Obviously, bear market's a little different, but just as a benchmark. So bearing that in mind, let's say your community over at EMP votes for eShare. So let's put eShare right here, just because. There we
Yeah,
go, eShare.
perfect.
Based off of that volume, eShare would actually, if you guys came in first place, would receive a $27,000 buyback and burn on the eShare token. So our protocol, utilizing those funds collected, and by the way, that's just based off the volume. It doesn't count the fact that our treasury precedes the burn wallet with funds, so that there's already something there at the beginning of the month to start fighting over. Just off the volume like that, you'd see a $27,000 buy on the eShare token, and then those tokens are sent over to the dead wallet on your network, the 0x000 dead wallet, removing them effectively from circulating supply, reducing the count on the scanner sites and deck screener, etc., circulating supply. And so those tokens can never be sold. So that's forced price appreciation on your token, and it's supply reduction. And that is how our ecosystem benefits other projects.
No doubt. I love it. And again, I mean, at a high level overview, that is as simple as it gets, even though there's a lot of mechanisms in play to actually produce, the yield and to have the leaderboards. And obviously, again, gamifying this whole process of getting communities involved and getting them in. I know, hopefully, and I don't want to rush you here. We still have plenty of time. But I know, speaking of, again, the amount of votes that influence the ranking, you're also launching NFTs that would essentially have a multiplier on those votes, right? Do you want to go into that now, or if again, I don't want to mess up your flow. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it, because no lie, I love talking about these NFTs because the art is sweet.
Yeah.
Let me let me switch over what I'm streaming real quick to a different window. Well, actually here, we got a slide right here. Um, so we have 3 tiers of NFTs, and these boost the weight of your vote. So tier 1, there's only 1,000 of them in total, and that's all there will ever be, right? This boosts your governance weight by 25%. So if you're burning, let's say, 100 O burn to vote for eShare, they would count as 125 because you have a tier 1 NFT. Tier 2, there's only 500 of them, and they boost your governance weight by 50%. So if you're burning 100 O burn to vote for eShare, it counts as 150. And then we have the granddaddies, the tier 3. They are only 250 in total, and they boost governance 100%. So if you're burning 100 O burn to vote for eShare, it counts as 200. And I'm just going to switch my stream window over to this one real quick because he's awesome. That's one of the tier 3s that you can see right there.
Awesome. Yep.
But yeah, so these guys, they are fully 3D modeled, and the actual NFT itself rotates, so you're able to enjoy them from all angles. And so for our NFTs, we actually work with a company that creates 2D and 3D digital assets for AAA games. 2 of the games that they worked on was Cyberpunk 2077 and The Last of Us. So, not small name games there.
For sure.
But
No, I love it. And just again to recap on that, and I'm sure you may go into it more, but do
yeah.
these stack? And how do we get I'm assuming there's some sort of a incentive. I know, and again, I'm leading you here a little bit, but I think one of the only ways to get the NFTs is being an early voter, right? I know you maybe want to go over that too. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I believe you're referring to the Firestarter NFT, which we're not really like displaying that right now. That's a mechanic
Correct.
that's coming in the future. So yeah, our NFTs will be going on sale about a week or two after our token launches live on Kyoto Swap, and all three tiers are going to be available, and during stage one minting, 33% of the supply for each of the NFTs is available at that time. During stage one minting, tier one is $100, tier two is $250, tier three is $400. And we kept the supply for these NFTs very, very low for a couple of reasons. The first reason is 14% of all of the revenue that our treasury generates is actually distributed as BUSD to NFT holders. So that's
Killer.
pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. Um, and the other reason why we were keeping the supply low is because as our protocol grows and becomes more popular, and as our treasury grows, those buyback and burns are going to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, because every time our treasury is using 30% of its revenue to buy the OBURN token back to increase the price, that is, the treasury wallet's not exempt from the taxes. So that is feeding that buy tax from the treasury making that purchase to precede that burn wallet with funds for projects to fight over. Um, but yeah, and then 14% of that is revenue from the treasury is distributed to the NFT holders, and we wanted to ensure that there was strong secondary market demand, and that's why we're keeping the supply so low. Since they are utility NFTs, we could have just gone with, like a card or something like that, or, the same picture for all of them, but we wanted to make them collectible as well. So, we just wanted them to be as cool as possible. Like, there's even one of ones sprinkled throughout tier one and tier two. There's a one of one of the tier threes as well, just to make them unique and special. Um, and as our protocol grows, we are slating for near the end of Q2, beginning of Q3, having an NFT rent marketplace. Traditional NFT rent marketplaces, they operate off of collateral, right? So if I own an NFT and AJ here is trying to rent it from me because he wants access to the utility of it, he would have to put up collateral, and then my NFT gets transferred to his wallet, right? Unfortunately, that would give him the opportunity to decide not to return it. I would keep the collateral, but then I'm out a rare, there's only 250 tier 3 NFTs. I'm out. It's gone. I no longer have my BUSD drip, right? That I'd be getting every month from the treasury.
For
So
sure.
we're creating a new style that operates off of a wrapped NFT. So if I go to list my NFT up for rent, then it goes into the rental contract, and you would receive a wrapped version of that has all the same vote boosting power. It points to the same picture, metadata, everything. And then when the rental period is over, the wrapped version is destroyed. It terminates itself, and I receive my NFT safely back from the rental contract.
I love it. No, and totally. I know this was a large part of our initial discussions, and something I think is super innovative, because we've seen this proven model as far as rentals in Splinterlands, which is a major project that we're invested in and have a lot of connections to. And they're a play to earn game on Hive blockchain, but they were the first real play to earn game to implement a rental system, and that grew their TVL tremendously. And so, again, the fact that you guys have already thought about this whole rental idea, I think is even more a step in the right direction of really driving value for the NFTs. And again, like you said, projects will, maybe projects will try to buy these NFTs to get their vote weight up or rent the NFTs in the short term if they're only interested in beating for each particular month. So yeah, I love it. Again, the game theory here is phenomenal. And one more thing to clarify, do they stack or not?
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
so
Yeah,
they do not stack because that would get a little crazy. Imagine a protocol coming in and renting a whole bunch of different tier threes and just like absolutely blowing everyone out of the water,
for
right?
sure,
Uh,
100%.
So, to keep people and, nefarious actors from trying to game the system essentially, when you go to do your burn vote, it looks for a tier three. If you have it, it applies that boost. If you don't, it checks for a tier two, etc. Yeah, so no, they do not stack. And that keeps it from being gameable, really.
Yep, and keeping it as fair as it can be. Yeah. Well, and again, I know there's already some next level strategies that I've been thinking of. Again, we won't go over it in the AMA today to give an edge to the competition, but I think that there's many ways that EMP as a community can leverage, these mechanisms. Again, not in an exploitable way, but just knowing again how the game theory operates to give us the best chances of winning some of these, monthly competitions for sure. So,
Oh, absolutely. So there's already several protocols that have essentially twisted my arm to get one of the few whitelist spots left for the NFT because what they wanted to do is they wanted their protocol to buy a tier three and essentially make a quote unquote sacrifice shrine where their community, if they decide that month, okay, we want to have our community all vote to buy back and burn our token, what they could do is their community buys the Oburn, sends what they want to, vote with to their project's wallet that holds that tier three NFT, and then the project votes for the entire community, essentially doubling the governance weight and the voting power of their entire community.
totally. No, absolutely. Yeah. And that, again, that would be one of the many ways I can see us leveraging, the community as a whole to capitalize on those rewards every month for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And that's we wanted to make sure that there were many different ways that protocols and individuals could leverage the ecosystem that we're building here so that it benefits them, right? And that's the whole point of it. We wanted to build a protocol that benefits everyone, really.
Yep, absolutely. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so this one's just talking a little. This slide is talking a little bit about the mechanic for the price appreciation. So Oburn receives buybacks from the Treasury profits. The Treasury wallet is not tax exempt, so the buyback of Oburn will precede the Burn Fund wallet with money for protocols to start fighting over at the start of the month. 30% of the Treasury profits from farming and investment strategies is utilized to purchase Oburn, which, of course, bumps our price up and precedes that wallet with 10% of all of those profits used to buy the token. And then we have an additional 30% of the treasury profits that then pair the Oburn that we just bought and add it back to the liquidity at a higher price at certain trigger points. That way, our LP always remains deep, right? Because the deeper the LP, the more stable it is, the less volatility you have. Because while wild price swings are great for scalp trading, what we're building here, it makes more sense to have it, slowly work its way up. Of course, there'll be those brief sudden jumps whenever our treasury does a buyback, but it keeps it from going parabolic when we deepen the LP.
For sure.
So
No doubt. And again, that's a major conversation that you and I had, while putting all this together. I mean, our protocol is the proven example of that. I mean, by having a large liquidity pool in our native asset, again, even now, EMP is still around 5 million bucks of total liquidity. I mean, that has really helped us not only become the most successful seigniorage protocol, out there, but it also has led to, the sustainability even during a bear, the depths of a horrible bear market. So yeah, and again, not to give away any alpha, but there may be other ways that we can work together on continuing to help you deepen that LP for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Always looking to, explore additional relationships and partnerships, because I believe that DeFi is a huge space, right, with tons of untapped potential. And there's plenty of room at the table for projects to sit down and eat together instead of, curled up in their own corner, shrieking and throwing mud at other protocols that get too close.
Totally, no doubt. And again, that is the same mindset that we have and any of our official partners that we end up bringing on. So I think we're cut from the same cloth in that respect as well. So yeah, I guess go yeah the summary, and we'll wrap it up, and we'll take a few questions for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, just to kind of summarize, our ecosystem, I've spent well over several months planning this ecosystem out, mapping it out, utilizing all of the experience that I have in business management, finance, economics to make sure that the ecosystem is sustainable long term, right? Honestly, with the way our treasury is going to be applying that purchasing to the Oburn token, even if at some point every single holder decided to sell, sure, that would hurt the price for a bit, but then our treasury once a month does that buyback and then just brings the price back up all by itself. I hate it when I see, like again, referencing, sorry, Ohm, but you're getting referenced again. When I see protocols like Ohm sitting on this massive treasury and then not using it to, breathe life into their token to benefit their holders. Like I don't need to sit here and, be taking salaries from a treasury or, hoarding it. Apply it back to growth, grow the ecosystem, benefit the holders, benefit other projects. Like that's the whole point of being in the DeFi space, right?
Totally.
So
No, absolutely. And to comment on that too, I mean that's been a mantra here at EMP all along. I mean, we get daily messages from people that say, why don't you just spend the entire treasury buying back EMP by itself? But what they don't understand is that you want to have that treasury actually produce a yield to then buy back your native asset or support your native asset to where you're never touching, that principle. The money is working for you, and that's how the wealthiest people in the world have not only gained their wealth but maintained their wealth is by living off the yield that their assets produce. So yeah, I mean we're again on the very very similar mindset of the strategy behind that. I mean again we wanna support our tokens absolutely, but we don't want to just kill the treasury and the entire project, trying to do that. Instead, we set up actual revenue streams that really make it sustainable over the long term.
100%. It's like I didn't buy a house until my stock portfolio. I was able to buy it with the dividend payouts, right? You want to build up your revenue generating assets first, and we'll have accomplished that once all of our NFTs are sold, and we'll have that treasury. And so when all the NFT sales are completed, our treasury will then begin this mechanic that essentially self-sustains the ecosystem through outside revenue. That's what we wanted to build. But yeah, so
Cool.
that's
Yeah.
kind of in a nutshell. I know it's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of different mechanics and the way that it works, but feel free to join our Discord, discord.gg/onlyburns. Check us out on Twitter, OnlyBurns DeFi. We also have our website where you can get to both of those from. It's just onlyburns.com, and tons of info. Feel free to join, ask questions. We have a really great core community here, and I know a lot of your holders are on Telegram. We did just create a Telegram. I'll admit I'm not very versed when it comes to Telegram,
For
but we
sure.
do have one.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, no doubt. It's again, it's funny. You see, we say it in our community where the Telegram is kind of like the pub or the party place, and then the Discord is our library. So yeah, it definitely is a different group of people that gravitate towards each platform. But yeah, well, that's great. I'm glad you started one over there. You've joined the true DGen realm over on Telegram for sure. So yeah.
yeah, that we did. That we did. And just before we go, I figure if it's cool with you, I'll real quick share a little bit of where is it? Let me see. Change windows. There we go. So this is one of the tier 1 of ones.
Awesome.
Uh, yeah, just showing that one. This is a 1 of 1 for tier 2.
Killer.
Let's see. I haven't put the background in this guy yet, but that's another 1 of 1. Oh wait, never mind. There's the background. Hey, I forgot I had 2 of them. That's another 1 of 1 for the tier 2. So they not gonna lie, we're really big fans of art for our NFTs.
Totally. Yeah, I love the Plague Doctor vibes, and then the the main guy is very yeah, demonic too. I love that. Again, burning obviously with your theme. Yeah, for tier
Oh
3.
yeah. Oh yeah, the tier 3. Yeah, and remember, there's only like 250 of those, and I know it's going to be a fierce competition to get those. Especially as our protocol grows, and that's the whole point. With having that, BUSD 14% of the Treasury revenue distributed across the NFTs. That's it'll be cool. We're really excited about it.
Yep, absolutely, bro. Well, again, today was just really kind of introducing you and the project. Obviously, personally speaking, I see a lot of potential. And as far as EMP goes, I think we as a community can leverage this. And as of right now, this is not an official partnership, but I think that over the next few weeks, and again, we're still in pre-launch for OnlyBurns. So again, this isn't even out yet, but once it is out, I think there's a lot of ways that we can, extend this relationship. Again, I've been in touch with Cyril over the last few days and weeks, and really seeing how we can most benefit each other. And so again, I think as the game theory starts playing out, again, what we offer at EMP by having services of more liquidity. I love that we call our detonator as a service, and you call it a burn as a service. Again, I think protocols that realize you have to have some sort of a product or product market fit. That is really where again the true value is and what keeps projects sustainable. No matter what the market conditions end up being. So, yeah, man, I'm really excited for the future. Hopefully, we can maybe, and again, I'll put you on the spot here, but we may be able to squeak out some whitelist opportunities. We'll follow up with all that. And I would love to have you back on, closer to actual launch or even after launch, to, again, follow up on everything. So, yeah, again, really appreciate your time. Bowler LA, was there anything you guys wanted to ask or any questions in the AMA chat before we move on to our own updates? Go ahead.
No, I think that was perfect. It very thorough, to the point. I think there's a lot, but so I think Cyril knocked it out of the park. It's a like without doing a lot of research in it, just on the surface, it looks like a fantastic application. And the of course the one thing the thing that I really like that you take away is that this is a big space where it's there you can have healthy competition, but it's a lot better to cooperate and build together, because creating a better space like that where we actually are leveraging our skills, combining those together and making the space friendlier, instead of, sniping at each other, acting, immature. The people that aren't in DeFi see that and say, "Oh man, no, thanks, none for me." But when you create, that relationship and that attitude where everybody's kind of professional and constructive and positive, and that doesn't mean you have to be all the time, but that the bigger, broader goal of creating a better space to attract new customers is exactly what DeFi needs, because by and large it's pretty stale, and it's too tribal, and it's too small, and it's really because of the code, not the digital code, but like the code and the way that people act here, that prohibits like growth and makes people like, oh, this I'm tired of this. This isn't for me. And we see a lot of people stepping out, really primarily for that reason, when the space offers the possibility for the exact opposite of tremendous growth and everybody really wanting to jump in here. And the people that obviously are building now, creating those good relationships, are going to be the people that I believe will really prosper in the future when, the ethos or the code gets changed here in that positive direction, where people want to come in because they're like, oh my God, look at that product. Look at this. Look at how these things fit together. Like amazing. Like, where do I sign up?
Yep.
100%.
Absolutely, Bill. Again, I think we're all on the same page. I love it. So yeah, all right. On that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Again, if there is any other specific questions, we'll post the link to your Discord, and there is a pre-launch competition as well. So Cyril, you just want to touch on that real fast. If our community jumps into your Discord, they can type in. I believe it's something /EMP or to get credit. If you want to just explain that real fast.
Yeah, so when our pre-sale hits hard cap, we have some funds set aside that we're going to allocate towards promotional buyback and burns. And if basically we have ranks in the Discord where if you type $rank and then EMP in all caps, it will auto assign you the EMP role. And essentially, after hitting hard cap, the project that has the most members under its role receives a promotional buyback and burn, just to say, hey, hi, hello world, we are here and we're burning.
Amazing. Oh, sorry, I was
Amazing.
muted. Yep, I was muted. I'm the king at that. So yeah, amazing, brother. Absolutely. So all right, awesome. Well, again, I appreciate your time. For those of you that are still here, please stick around. We're gonna go right into our own AMA. But I'm gonna leave you here, Cyril. So thanks again, bro, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great rest of your day. And thanks you for having us here to chit chat with you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, brother. You got it. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Awesome, everybody. Well, that was an amazing AMA. Again, really like what we see with the team, with the project. Obviously we don't give financial advice, and it is up to the team to deliver on everything that they are trying to put together. But I'm pretty confident that they'll be able to do that, and I think that we can really put together some next level strategies, and also get a little bit more involved. Again, protocol to protocol with them after launch, and what that looks like as we move forward. So, all right, let me pull up my notes for today, and we'll go
I love
over.
that.
Yeah, go ahead, LA. Any input on that? I know, you and I and Bull and the rest of the team were discussing this behind the scenes, but I know you were excited once and again, it takes a while to kind of wrap your head around what the mechanisms are, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you did such a killer job at sharing just enough today to make everyone understand fully, but not so much that it was overwhelming. And so he kind of did a good job of teasing it, but explaining it a bit. And I'm pumped about it. Sounds really exciting. So and he sounds like a really solid dude. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
absolutely.
excited about it.
All right, killer. Well, and again, not financial advice. As of right now, it's not an official partnership, but I like what we see so far, and I think it could be majorly beneficial to us as an ecosystem as well. So, all right, let me pull up my notes. All right, so I do have a few other announcements. Again, if you, we'll try to do a timestamp for those that just want to fast forward and hear the AMA, but we wanted to jam it all in here in one video. But just to recap a little bit from the and one more thing I wanted to say. Shout out to David Y. David actually put this meeting together originally, and I want to make sure we give credit where credit is due. David's been absolutely killing it for us. He's a longtime member of the community. A lot of you may know who he is. He jumps on the voice chats every now and then. But not only did he put this meeting together and help me, get a more background, but there's also another meeting I have this week that I'm super excited about. That again, David laid the groundwork for, and really any of you, take a page from David's book. Like if there's a project that you guys see that you think would really help EMP, or you like what they're doing, or even a pure marketing relationship, reach out for us. I mean, obviously, we don't want you representing the team if you're not on the team, but by all means, you're able to, as a community member, to make these introductions and then send me or anybody else from the team at EMP a DM and say, hey, I like what I see here. Would you be interested in meeting with them? I mean, hell yeah, I love that. So again, shout out to David. Thanks, brother, for all that you do. Again, and everybody puts in the effort. I mean, LA and I were talking about this a little bit earlier and Bull as well. I mean, LA and Bull both came from our community and they're now team members. So I think it's awesome that everybody puts in the effort to help their own bags as we grow. So yeah, Ella, anything you want to say on that? I know you and I were talking about that specifically today. So yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying on a call earlier with him today. People reach out to us every day. We get Discord tickets, we get random DMs, and a lot of them are from people that we've never heard of before, and they want you to feel like they're part of the community, but they've never written a message in the group before, or maybe they've written one or two messages in the group, but they're not actively participating. And then you have people on the other end of the spectrum that are so actively participating and giving so much without the expectation of getting anything in return. They just love EMP. They invest in their investment. They're really valuable members of the community who, love and respect everyone else in the community and just want to do everything they can to help it succeed. And I was just saying to AJ, like, that's the mentality that I had coming in here. And I feel like that's probably why, you initially, brought me on to do certain little jobs here and there that led to me becoming part of the team, because I just wanted to do anything I could. And I had no expectation of getting anything for it. And we've got some really incredible people in our community right now who are just like that, David being one of them. I was saying to AJ, if there are any opportunities that open up, where we are able to pay anyone for certain jobs, like those are the people that are going to be at the forefront of our minds, not these random people that just message out of the blue but never participate in the community and don't really have all that much to offer.
Absolutely. No, amazing point, LA. And yeah, so sorry, I know it was a bit of a tangent, but I want to make sure that we brought that up while I was thinking about it. So, all right, cool. All right, let me give again. I know we're going a little late here. We'll try to be respectful of everybody's time because there is some stuff we still have to get to. But the first thing is e-share emissions update. Again, we've talked about this on the AMA on Tuesday. The code is essentially finalized. Everything is looking really good. We're working on a Medium article now. We're being a little bit vague, I guess, for lack of a better word, just to avoid any potential, exploits in terms of transferring. But we really feel like we have done our due diligence in making sure the code is not only solid, but there is no potential exploit in a migration. Again, everything we do here, we triple and quadruple test over and over, both on testnet and mainnet, to make sure we have no exploits, and we haven't. I mean, every contract we've done from day one has been 100% solid. We've had 100% uptime, no issues whatsoever. So we really pride ourselves on that. So again, as of right now, there's nothing you need to do. All the liquidity that is protocol owned in Detonator or Reactor rather, because we're talking about e-shares here. All that liquidity in Reactor will be migrated on your behalf for you. Again, one to one. Everything stays the same, and that's 75% of the total liquidity as it is. So the reason or the fact that that is the case is very beneficial because again it mitigates any potential risk and you'll have plenty of time after the migration is live to swap your liquid e-share. So if you have some e-share in the boardroom and the single staking pools, we are working on a way again to make that super seamless where you can just click a button and it will migrate for you, especially with that single staking pool to avoid any potential, lockup or additional fees or whatever else. So, but worst case scenario, if you have LP that you either have on Magic or one of the other auto vaults or anything that's not in the protocol at the moment, you would just unpair that LP. You would then swap your eShare and then pair the LP up again with the new version 2 eShare on the other side. So, and really, if you're dumping eShare in version 1, you're just dumping. You're selling your own bag, meaning again, there's no reason to try to dump the price artificially because you make less as any hacker or holder or anybody. So again, we've accounted for all that, and we don't see hardly any issues happening. And then after we give a certain amount of time that we give everybody to migrate, we will be draining the liquidity by selling the old e-shares that we collect and then moving that migrated LP to the new LP as well. So again, all the LP that we have now should end up being the same amount of LP on version 2. So hopefully that helps. Again, we'll have all this documented. I'll even do a video about how to do all this once it's ready. Nobody needs to panic. Nobody's going to miss out. Nobody's going to lose out. So just bear with us while we get everything finalized, and then we can educate everybody on what they need to be doing as well. And do not fall for any scams. Again, you may get DMs that say, here's the new eShare token, or, all that is 100% bullshit, and it's all scammers. So unless you hear it from my mouth on an AMA, or it's pinned in the actual pinned messages of our Telegram or YouTube, do not ever, follow any instructions from anybody else. So, yeah, does that help clarify, LA? I know, again, you and I are working on the docs and the Medium article for all this, but was there any other loose ends?
I think that was perfect.
All right, perfect. And then a few other fast announcements. Alpha Shares Marketplace is now up and running. Again, we will have a link to that on our own website shortly. We're working on a lot of UI updates on the website. I know a lot of you have had issues with Detonator and Sentinel displaying properly the NFTs that populate. So we're working on that. That fix has already been done. We just have to push it live. But we're working on some other UI upgrades as well. So we're also working on a partner page where we'll be able to showcase all of the partner applications that we have. Again, Up EMP, BCS House, a few others that I'm forgetting at the moment.
Growth
But yeah,
DeFi,
growth, obviously growth. Oh my God, yeah.
Splinterlands.
Thanks, Ella. Yeah, you have the list. Go for it. What is it? Yeah.
I don't have it open, but those were two more that
All
just
right.
popped
Yeah.
in my head.
Obviously the big two, Splinterlands and growth. So yeah, and I think there's one more I'm forgetting too. But yeah, we'll have all that over there for everybody to see as well, and we'll continue to add to that as we put together more applications that benefit EMP overall. So all right. That is that. Again, the new AMA schedule, Mondays and Thursdays. So that will be the new schedule. Same time, same place, 6:45 p.m. Eastern, but only on Mondays and Thursdays. This allows us to be more efficient, do a little bit better job of addressing everybody's concerns, and giving us something that everybody can rely on. And then we will do intermediate uh, AMAs in between, especially if it's something like today, any potential partnership or a highlight of other protocols will be a one-off AMA as well. But remember, 100% of the engagement moving forward in terms of AMAs, we are pushing to YouTube. So again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. It's still doing really well. We're growing every day, and we are monetized. So that is a direct revenue stream for EMP as well. So, all right, and then LA, one more time. I know I keep throwing to you today. The merch store. So I know we had said we were hoping to launch today. Unfortunately, as with everything in DeFi, it seems like we can only rely on others so much. So, but we're almost there, right?
Yep. So we were meant to launch tonight. The only thing that I'm waiting for is for them to add the token BUSD so that we can accept it on our store, because we want to be able to accept payments in BUSD. So everything is ready to launch. So as soon as they complete that, which they were working on it today, then I can hit the button and go live. So I'm sincerely hoping that that's going to happen tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated, but I've got everything ready to just paste and blast out there as soon as it's ready. As soon as they email me and let me know that that token's been added, we're ready to roll.
Perfect. So yeah, again, hoping for a launch tonight still, but it may be another 24 hours or so. So yeah, again, unfortunately, we do everything we can to prepare, but if we don't, implement the code ourselves, we still have to rely on others, and sometimes DeFi cannot be on our schedule. So all right, awesome. That's great. And then, oh, one last thing again, LA. I'm so sorry. I keep putting you on the spot here. NFTopia, again, I'm really excited about this. This is, and LA, I'll let you go into detail, but it's essentially the new Splinterfest, correct? I don't know, maybe go into a little bit of the background on this event, and then, yeah, how we're going to be involved.
Yeah, so DigiCon, yeah, so
yes, I'm sorry, yeah, DigiCon,
as you
Splinterfest.
guys
Yeah, Splinterfest is the in-person DigiCon, but yeah, yeah, go ahead, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, as you guys know, we've been going to DigiCon for all of the DigiCons, and as they've had to pull back a little bit, they've put their DigiCons on hold, and so some of the team members from Splinterlands have formed their own event, and they're putting this on. It's called NFTopia. And so it's going to be very similar, where you're going to go into the metaverse. I believe it's actually run by Inverse, the same company that helps them to manage DigiCon. But it's, we're not sure how many people to expect at this first one since it's brand new, but we've got a booth, and AJ's going to be doing a talk on the Saturday, the main event. So we're really excited to support them and to do a talk and hopefully connect with some brand new people that we bring into our community.
Yeah, absolutely, LA. I'm really excited for that again. To name drop Waffles Kitty, who I'm sure a lot of you remember that unique name. She was running Digicon for all like 11 of them. I don't know what. I think the final one they just did was like either 12 or 13, and we were part of that from day one. Again, I was involved in the first few. With my original project, Polypixels, and then we moved over to EMP, and then had all the engagement with EMP. So yeah, it's been a great journey being involved with them. And again, we hope that they can grow it now another standalone event. And so yeah, we'll have a booth. I'm excited to give another talk. Again, we don't know how the engagement will be, but uh, any engagement is good engagement. So definitely
Yeah.
join us over there. Yeah, go ahead.
And Waffles Kitty has always been super amazing and so supportive of EMP. So we really want to show up in full force and support their event and, help kick it off to a great start, because I'm sure it's going to be just as successful as Digicon. They've just got to build it up because it's brand new.
Yep, absolutely. All right, and we'll give everybody a bunch of heads up or warning on that where you can register, and we'll put out a schedule. If any of you want to come hang out at the booth and help answer questions, we always appreciate that from our community. Again, it's all a virtual space, so you can schedule an hour or two to just hang out and try to get people excited about EMP. So. All right, awesome. Well, that really was kind of all the updates. And I did, and this kind of plays into the AMA today, and just kind of my overall thoughts um, on the current state of DeFi. I think, unfortunately, we've seen a huge wave of these gamble plays, and two of the major ones. Completely rugged over the last 24 hours to 48 hours. I'm not going to mention them by name, just to not even give them any, even a mention of who they are, any exposure, anything. And it's really sad to me that I think, all of us are so used to DeFi, degen DeFi, where we chase, these 1, 2, 3% dailies. And if you don't see the writing on the wall that that is a scam, like, I don't know, you know, what to tell you. And I have to be really careful, again, with what I say as a project lead, and not, draw FUD or draw attacks. And I guess moving forward, I may be a little bit more outspoken on these things, because those that did get involved in these projects, you know, not understanding the risk. Like for me, like I see the writing on the wall the minute this person, does an AMA or does opens their Telegram, where, because of my experience in DeFi, I can tell you, 99% of all these bot plays are gonna rug in some way or fashion. And, I know that I think that there is a big allure of, trading platforms or trading traders that produce revenue. And, we saw that with Project 79 and Goldbridge, and I'm still bullish on those. Unfortunately, Goldbridge is running into some other payment issues at the moment, but the money is in the accounts. I mean, I've seen that, and my point is, we as a protocol are going to start diversifying into projects that have actual, KYC'd and regulated traders. And I think that is where the space is going. I know we had another AMA earlier this week where somebody was complaining about us being too centralized. That we're not in we're not in the ethos of what crypto was designed to do, because we're not fully decentralized. Even though all of our farms and everything, we're not custodial. Like everything that we can be decentralized in, we are. And so that is a moot point anyway. But I think that, we can't just take people at their word anymore. We have to have legitimate KYCs, and that's why we've been successful, at EMP. Like obviously, I've been fully doxxed from day one. I have a lot on the line with this, protocol, and I'm doing everything in my power, to create success here. And that doesn't mean, to expect profit from the work of others. We are a fully closed-looped economy that is just code on the internet. And so, but all that being said, obviously I want everybody here to succeed, and we'll do everything we can, as a team, to get the protocol to that point. But at the end of the day, I think that it's just sad that people go into these obvious, scam protocols. And again, I mean, one of them scammed today for $2 million. Even if we had $1 million, because that capital has to come from somewhere. If somebody put $1 million into EMP, we'd be at peg tomorrow. So just to put things in perspective, you can get those kind of yields when the ecosystem is functioning, at the high level that we will get back to here at EMP. So again, I don't mean to really go on a rant, but I just got really, really sad today when I see large, YouTubers continuing to promote these projects that are obviously scams. They don't KYC. You can tell they're using voice changers or, are not, English speaking. And again, I don't mean that in a racist way at all. I think that there's a lot of writing on the wall to what these projects really want to do and want to deliver for their communities, which has all been very, scammy from the get-go. So, Bull, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. I'm sure you have an opinion as well. So, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think I have anything to add. I think you said it all, bro. Like, like you're, I guess the old adage, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, brother.
More
That's
powerful
totally...
than telling, yeah. And, you feel sad for people, and it's true, right? Because like you're a compassionate guy that, wants to see people do well. And I think, by and large, most people really do want to do well, but they have to put it into context, like, where does the money come from, right? It has to come from somewhere. And unfortunately, the people, like kind of get blinded by the idea of that. And I know there are a number of them that know it's a game of hot potato, if you will, and, are willing to jump in and jump out. But that's you can't create like that long lasting space that people want to come into. And I mean, I'm sure everybody here at DeFi has friends that are into, not DeFi. And when, you tell your friend that is, into blue chips or whatever, like I'm in DeFi, they're like, ooh, like,
Yeah,
I gotta think if I want to be friends with you or not. And that's not really cool, but like, it's because of, like we talked about just, 20, 30 minutes ago, it's about the code that exists here, like the jumping from project to project to project and playing these games of hot potato. And, if the projects advertise themselves as a game of hot potato, cool. Like that's honest. Like, to say, hey, look, we're just going to do like random draws, blah, blah, blah. If you might get burned, you might win. There's some honesty in that, and not that it's sustainable, not that it's really, something that people should get into, but if they advertised it that way, it would be different. But I'll just point out, like, because I see this written quite often in a number of channels, and like, I think he's right. Like, like if you just look around, like most people forward, like what Forex wrote about that, it's like, if somebody had a profitable trading bot, why would they share it? Because
sure.
eventually,
he was one of the most outspoken to begin with. Again, maybe I should have been as well, but yeah, I mean, and that's so true, Bull. I mean, I think, go ahead on this line. I see where you're going, so go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. Like, if you had a formula, that could assure you a chance at winning the lottery, why would you share it? You would just keep building up your gains, because a problem with like sharing a strategy that's really, really good is that it dilutes the effectiveness, because the pool that you're going into is eventually going to shrink over time in relation to the growth of the people implementing this strategy. So the returns would go down and down and down and down. And there would be no reason, if somebody had, something that was highly effective, for them to share it with you, because as time progressed, their stake would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's why, MLMs or other types of things like this tend to sell you the idea of that person's success. And it's not sustainable, because that money, that revenue has to come from somewhere. And like I said, as the more and more people join, think about it. If you were in a town of 1,000 people and you joined Amway, there were 2 people in your town selling Amway, you might sell something, you might do okay. What happens when there's 10 people and 100 people and then 500 people? There's nobody left to sell it to. Everybody's selling it. And so the ability for you to earn is going to go down with each person that enters, because the pool, of buyable of capital is going to shrink in relation to, the people that are there. And so there's just no reason somebody would share it with you. I guess I think I made my point, and I think that's, if you just look around, it's exactly, what Forex says. It's true. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people fall for it. You can find things Project 79 is a great example of thinking outside of the box and building relationships outside of, for instance, crypto, in this commodity gold that has, that has this huge pool, right? Effectively. And, they're effectively buying wholesale, reselling it at retail. And totally. It's a tried and true method, right? But not everybody can do that. There's barriers to entry, a number of them. And so, do you think that it would be profitable if, every person on the planet entered that market? No, it wouldn't. But there's barriers to entry, but there's no barrier to entry in saying I got an amazing trading bot that's going to make all this money every day. And because people will be like, oh, really? Okay, I'll jump in and see what happens. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out. So I guess I did have a slight opinion.
Yeah, no, I love it, Bull. Yeah, and again, that law of diminishing returns, is the reality. And again, that's even assuming that the bot is legit. I mean, Jesus, and this was why for me being in DeFi so long, one of the biggest memes in all of crypto, and one of the major projects I got in to begin with was BitConnect, and their big thing, which they had they were number 3 on CoinMarketCap, just under ETH at one point at the height of their heyday, and that was a pure Ponzi scheme. A lot of people didn't know it was. Hindsight is always 2020, but their whole spiel was that they had a trading bot producing these yields. And so again, I mean, crypto is so cyclical, and it got me so bummed out today when I see the writing on the wall from day one. Everything plays out exactly how I thought it would, and now people are out a ton of money. That is such a waste, because, and again, I'm not turning this into a pitch for EMP. Whatever DeFi project. I mean, again, Animal Farm could be one. I don't know, whatever you are into. Again, this isn't a call to invest, but that money could have been applied to an actual DeFi project that is building, that is, has good leadership, that is doing, things for the future, and that kind of money could have a substantial impact. Again, I mean, like I said about a minute ago, had $1 million of new capital gone into the buying EMP rather than some random, scam project, we'd be at peg tomorrow. eShare would absolutely moon, and we would be, the ecosystem would be, firing on all cylinders, and producing similar yield to what these people are advertising in a much more sustainable way. So yeah, again, I'm getting a little heated today. It was really shitty
You are.
how it
That's
all
good.
went down. And again, I mean, please jump on the AMAs. Like I try to be a little bit political in what I say or don't say in terms of talking bad about other projects. I have to be really careful with that. But moving forward, I mean, on any of these AMAs, if there is a project that is gaining a lot of traction, and people want my opinion, again, I'll try to separate my opinion from the opinion of EMP as a
Hmm.
project. But yeah, I'm happy to give that input moving forward too. So yeah, is
I
that
want to
yeah
add
Yeah.
just one thing
yeah
to that.
LA, please, yes, please, go ahead.
It just reminded me like what you guys were saying of just like something really simple that I read today, and it's just this like the shortcut in life, the shortcut that you're looking for to success and to riches and whatever it is that you desire. The shortcut is the long way. It's the hard way. It's putting in the hard work, doing what's necessary, and not constantly looking around in a million different directions for the next shortcut. It's staying focused, staying connected to your vision, and doing the work every single day and getting closer and closer to where you're going. And that's the true shortcut. And that's what we're doing here at EMP. We've been at this for a year already, and we're still standing, and we're still at the top of that totem pole because we're doing that. We're not getting distracted by shiny object syndrome. We're here doing the same thing day in and day out, and we're doing it damn well.
I love it. Yes, LA. All of us are fired up. The whole team. I love
SOS,
it.
huh?
Yeah,
Shiny object syndrome. Sending out an SOS, right?
it is. It's
That's
true.
good.
Well, and I think again,
Can I say one thing real
yeah,
quick,
please go ahead,
AJ?
Bull. Yeah, I was gonna make one more point, but yeah, go ahead, bro, for sure. Yeah.
Go ahead, friend. Go ahead,
Oh
man.
no, I just was gonna say really fast, and please, I want to hear what you have to say, Bull. But I think a really easy metric in all of this discussion is that if there is not at least one member of a team that is willing to KYC and dox themselves, I mean, I think that is a new standard that we really need to be pushing in the space. Again, Forex is a great example on that counter argument because he has not doxed himself, but he has the multiple year track record of, like it good or bad. I'm not here to comment on that, but, he has proven that he isn't going to run away with people's funds. He may lock them up for longer than we hope. Oh, man, but, and no doubt, I love you, Forex. So, but, I mean, my point is that, we have to really start thinking critically of these projects that we all want to support and go into. And I get it. I mean, privacy is important, but you have to know, diving into these sort of things, the commitment that it takes, to make a project successful. So yeah, go ahead, Bull.
Yeah, it was a simple thing because as we see the market being a bit green today, and people being having that bit of euphoria and that hope, right, that it's going to turn into like a bull market. We talked about this a few days ago or last week, a group of us, and can you really, so like if we look at like a chart, it is just it's a visual representation of people's emotions, right? And in a really simple way, when it's red, people are afraid and they're selling. When it's green, they're buying and they're happy. And if you look at that red candle, in 2018, and there are all these different type of macro conditions existing in the world, and there were conditions existing in crypto. Do you remember what those were? Does the chart remember what those are? Can you determine like your level of fear, or how can you quantify fear that you have right now with fear you had in 2018? Or is it really just generically fear is fear? And I put an article somewhere, and it was, this guy Jamie Dimon, who has been one of the biggest Bitcoin haters for a long time, even though like the company he is the head of has it on their balance sheet, right? And so, he's a guy that is really continually fudding and saying the worst economic hurricane, is coming, it's coming, it's coming. And, we've heard that for months and months and months. The recession is coming next month. We're looking like we're going to go into a recession. Looks like we're going to go into a recession. And, a lot of people will say, well, like, it's possible the conditions are way different and nothing like this has ever like existed, like, with the supply chain problems and COVID and, the war in the Ukraine. But really, like, if you boil it down to just raw emotion, fear is fear, regardless if it's 2023 or 1923. And the same goes for like happiness. Like, we don't quantify happiness like, like a video game might, like, oh yeah, I have a happiness level of 97% right now. And, back in 1983, I had a happiness level of, 87%. So my happiness level is higher today. Like, we don't think that granular and like have that type of a quantitative mind where we do that. But we do remember like, I was fearful back then. And so if we just look at it like in that sense, like we can tell that, we can't worry like always about FUD and like all these continuing like, it's going, this bear market's going to last for 20 years because this is the worst thing ever. I think it is a really good idea to look back and see like how people act. Like, because the same things play out time after time after time. And, it's the same thing like with these, these like the bot projects that we're talking about at the moment is that, if the bot projects worked, is there one that has lasted for years and years and years or a year? No. Okay. There's probably your answer. And so does it mean that it'll never exist? Probably. But why should we, look at, the worst side of the market, taking the step back and looking at the whole thing and just saying, okay, the market was fearful back then, it's fearful now. How did it react? Like, if everybody looks at that Wall Street cheat sheet, that psychology cheat sheet to see like where you think we're at and how it looks. And, all that sideways action isn't just sideways. There's peaks and valleys and all of that. And so like, that's what we're seeing now, but, really taking kind of a macro perspective. And instead of saying like, oh man, this is the worst, like this bear market's going to last for 30 years because that's what the experts say. Well, if we listen to all of the so-called experts who said crypto was going to be dead, this is the end of crypto, like we wouldn't be on this call. And, crypto would have been dead and gone, 12 years ago, but it's still here. And I wouldn't get too caught up in what people say, especially when you have that opportunity to earn day after day after day. And, look for increasing your position and, learning skills and meeting people and, really analyzing why projects work and why they don't, and looking for the ones that fail and why do analyzing why do they fail, and then, making more sound decisions based on, your analysis of what you see, and then, meeting and talking to friends who, give you a fuller like view of the crypto space and make you, you're knowledgeable, more robust. And that's what people need to do. Like right now, we don't need to argue with one another and point fingers and say, we knew it was going to happen and this is the worst one ever and it's never going to end. And no, we need to be doing the exact opposite. Just like, what was mentioned on the AMA about like building together to attract new people here. And, it can lift you out of the bear market and it really in a matter of no time when, there's a spark or a catalyst that, will do that and you won't even expect it. And, has the spark been lit right now, with the green candles that we see? Who knows? But, we can look back and see like how the market has acted over the time. And I just wanted to, in a long, non-succinct way, talk about like the idea that fear is fear and happiness is happiness. We don't quantify it at such a granular level that, oh, yep, there were 6 bad variables back then, and there's 3 now. We don't do that as people, and I don't think that we see that reflected really in any data sets where like somebody quantifies it at such a granular level for every particular event. And that being said, like I think it would be impossible, because if there were 1 million people in the market, there's no way to quantify like exactly how their emotions are. So fear is fear, happiness is happiness.
Yeah, no doubt, Bull. And 2 more points on that real fast, and then we'll wrap it up. I think, you said a really important thing at the end there, was essentially, we don't know when the bottom is going to happen. We don't know when fear becomes not fear. And I can tell you, in every cycle I've been a part in, everybody says they think they can predict or call the bottom, but you're never able to do that. And it's in a matter of weeks or even days where people say, "Oh shit, that might have been the bottom." Like, why was I not buying, my favorite tokens at deep discounts, because the train has now left the station. And that is 100% how it plays out. It will play out that exact same way in the next bull run. I can guarantee you, because it's just the human psychology and the human nature of everything that Bull just said over the last 5-10 minutes. So yeah, and one last thing I just want to say is, I think that it is important. To have some accountability on yourself. Meaning, I think that when rugs do happen, I think that there is a certain sentiment of people that want to blame somebody. They want to, go after whoever told them about it. Which, again, this is not making excuses. I think there is absolutely a level of responsibility on YouTubers to, make sure that they look at all the potential red flags. Like what Ben or Uncle Ben, Spider-Man, his grandpa said, with great power becomes great responsibility. I'm a major believer in that. And so, but again, at the end of the day, nobody is here
Is that the
pressing.
rice guy?
Yeah, Uncle Ben, the rice, yeah, the rice guy, exactly. But at the end of the day, nobody is pressing the buttons for you. So if you do get in a project, that ends up ultimately failing or rugging or whatever the circumstance may be, just also have some self introspection on how you can not get in that situation again the next time, and learn from your mistakes. And above all, do not invest more than you can afford to lose. Again, we say it again and again. I'm not here to give financial advice, but if I'm going to give any kind of financial advice, it would be to not over leverage yourself. I think that everybody wants to get into crypto to get rich overnight, and you can absolutely get rich overnight in crypto, but it takes years of work to get to that point. So we're all here to learn and support projects that we believe in. Again, if that's EMP, amazing. I'm happy to hear that. And I think that we can all see the vision of what we're building here. But at the end of the day, this is the cutting edge. I mean, we're all experimenting. Even the most substantial projects in crypto, we're on the cutting edge of a new financial revolution. And there will be some wins, there will be some losses, but overall, we're super early, to the party. And I think moving forward, we're all going to see the results that we hope we see. Again, investing in people that care, investing in teams that deliver, that build, and are working towards, a brighter future. So, all right, awesome. That's it.
AJ, just
Yeah,
one
go ahead,
last
LA.
question.
Absolutely, yes, please. Go ahead.
What do you think the percentage of DeFi projects that last beyond the 1 year mark is, if you just had to ballpark it?
Oh man, that's a great segue and question, LA. Yeah, I mean, from my experience, I would say literally 95%. I would say it's a very similar, I think that's the same ratio of startup companies in the real world. I would say all the ratio is like 95% of all startups fail in the first year, and I would say that absolutely holds true in crypto as well. So yeah, I mean we're going to be celebrating our 1 year anniversary on the 18th, and yeah, I mean that is a major accomplishment, not only in DeFi, but in business overall. And we are planning some celebration activities, maybe some giveaways for the anniversary. So yeah, great point, LA, for sure. We forgot to mention that earlier. So awesome. Well, and again, I love all the comments on YouTube. Randy says, success does not just come from simply doing the right things, but by refusing to stop doing the right things. And again, I mean, that is the mantra here. At EMP, we may not be the sexiest APR, we may not get all the decisions 100% right, even though I think we've done a hell of a job on our batting averages of making the right decisions. But that being said, we're all here to try to just continue to drive the platform forward, no matter what that looks like. And yes, LA says persistence even in the face of resistance. So yeah, I love that too, LA, for sure. So all right, everybody. Well, again, I apologize if we didn't get to your questions. This was a really long AMA today because we had OnlyBurns on. I was looking at some of the comments. It sounds like you guys are bullish on OnlyBurns, so that's exciting. I think you all have seen the vision that I saw when we were first talking behind closed doors. And so, yeah, make sure you join their Discord, and you're going to type in $EMP when you get to their main channel, and that will register you as an EMP or Emperor or Empress, and that will give us credit for a potential buyback. I'm sorry, it's rank and then EMP. Thank you, David. So yeah, for clarifying that. So, and if you get in the Discord, you can ask them how to get credit. And yeah, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask hard questions. I mean, obviously, there is a risk in any startup protocols. If I had one criticism of OnlyBurns, it would just be to have the development power to actually pull off all that they envision. And if they can do that, then I do think it would be very successful. So yeah, and again, we hopefully will have a larger role in that ecosystem moving forward as well. So all right, Bowler LA, any other final words or comments before we wrap it up?
Not for me.
All right, awesome, LA. We'll give everybody an update if merch goes live tonight, if not sometime tomorrow. And then Bull, anything from you, brother?
Nah, I'm all talked out.
All right, same here, man. I'm gonna have some dinner. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out late tonight, and we'll be back on Monday. Again, our new AMA schedule is Mondays and Thursdays at 6:45 p.m. And all of our AMAs are recorded on YouTube. So if you're not able to make it, make sure you watch the old AMAs. So, all right, good night, good day. We will see you on Monday.